St. Paul, Minnesota. What began as a seemingly ordinary morning turned into a horrifying crime scene when police were called to the residence of 38-year-old Donshay Hardy, a devoted mother of three, brutally gunned down in her own bathroom. The perpetrator? Her husband, 43-year-old Eddie Webb, behind the smiles on social media and family photos, was a volatile relationship marred by control, emotional trauma, and repeated abuse. Donshay and Eddie Webb began their relationship in 2010, eventually marrying in February 2021. But peace was short-lived. That same year, Donshay filed for a protective order, alleging Eddie choked her with one hand while threatening her with a knife in the other. She managed to escape unharmed physically, but the psychological scars ran deep. Eddie was charged with second-degree assault, but the case was dropped in January 2022 due to the unavailability of a key witness and lack of corroborating evidence. Despite the danger, the couple reconciled, a decision that would later cost Donshay her life. April 7, 2023, 4 a.m. Police were first called to the Hardy-Webb residence. Donshay had called 911 requesting that Eddie be removed from the home. When officers arrived, they observed her at a window with a child. She opened the door and told officers that Eddie had already left. She refused to give further information. There were no visible injuries or evidence of assault. So the officers left. Less than 30 hours later, police would return, this time to a homicide. At 11:15 a.m., a frantic 911 call was placed after three children ran from the home screaming, alerting a neighbor that something terrible had happened. Among them were two of Donshay's children, ages 11 and 6 or 7, and an 11-year-old visiting relative. According to witness testimony from the children, an argument had erupted the previous night. The fight began over Instagram posts, with Donshay accusing Eddie of being insecure. He retaliated by calling her demeaning names, and things escalated to the point that she demanded he leave the home. One of the children reported Eddie returning the following morning while Donshay was in the bathroom blow-drying her daughter's hair. Eddie entered the room, ordered the child to leave, and when she refused after spotting a firearm in his pocket, he forced her out and locked the door. What followed was chilling. From outside the door, the children heard their mother pleading, "Stop, Eddie, stop." Then 3 gunshots. When officers arrived, they found Donshay Hardy lying dead on the bathroom floor, shot in the face just below the eye. Paramedics confirmed her death at the scene. Eddie Webb had already fled. In the immediate aftermath, a murder warrant was issued for Eddie Webb. During the investigation, a relative came forward revealing that Eddie had confessed to being overwhelmed by constant arguments, and told the relative he had finally had enough. Then, he shot her. Following the murder, Eddie turned off his phone and went into hiding. He remained a fugitive until August 16, 2023, when police located his dead body. He had taken his own life, denying the legal system and Donshay's family the opportunity for justice. At the time of the murder, Eddie Webb was legally prohibited from possessing a firearm due to prior felony convictions. The firearm used was illegally owned. After his death, prosecutors dismissed the case, though the emotional and psychological damage left behind continues to echo through the lives of the children and Donshay's loved ones. 3 children were left motherless, traumatized by witnessing the brutal killing of the woman who had been their protector and anchor. To commit such an act, especially in front of children, is not only a crime of violence but one of profound cruelty. What happened to Donshay Hardy was not just a tragedy, it was a failure of the system to protect a woman who had already tried to leave, who had already sounded the alarm. And it was the ultimate betrayal by a man she once believed in. Donshay was known for her warm personality, her deep love for her children, and her role as the glue that kept her family together. Her murder is a stark reminder of how domestic violence, if unaddressed, can spiral into irreversible loss. May her story serve as a call to action, to believe survivors, to intervene early, and to never look away.